Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roller Coaster History Podcast. You are listening to Airtime Traveler. My name is Nathan Grace, and as always, I'm joined by my wife and lovely co-host.
That's me. I'm Haley Grace.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Coaster Conversations. It's been a while since we've done one of these. We've just been with the holidays and with trips to amusement parks and everything. It's been crazy, But had a chance to we're finally doing another one of these. So we are trying a new recording. What's the word I'm looking for? Not system, like new recording equipment today. So bear with us. We hope it sounds better. If it doesn't, then we'll figure it out. But I think we'll be able to. I think we'll sound better today. So
I hope so.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
goal.
definitely more comfortable.
Oh, that's good. We set this up so that each of us have an individual microphone now, and we can kind of just. I'm putting everything up on the TV for Haley to look at, and we're just sitting on a couch, so it's much more comfortable than
so much
kind of crowding around the one microphone in my office. So it's a little better today. So hopefully this will be the new system moving forward, as long as everything sounds okay today. So
heck yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything I wanted to cover. Happy New Year. This episode is releasing on Monday, January 2nd. So Happy New Year. Welcome 2023. Hopefully everyone has new coaster credits and new parks to visit this year. I know we're excited to hit a couple new parks this year.
My goal is to ride new roller coasters this year.
That is always my goal. But that's not really stretching me any, because
definitely
not happening anyway. So, well, I think we'll just hop right into it. I don't have like a whole lot to talk about.
New roller coaster?
It's not really any news right now.
Airtime Traveler goals or?
Well, we'll talk about that some other time, I suppose, if we have goals for the podcast.
Goals for the podcast.
I will tell you. I decided, I put this on social media today, but I decided we're going to start releasing episodes on Thursdays now, which I think will be better for us, because then we don't have to worry about recording on the weekends if, like we're behind schedule. So and I saw that a lot of podcasters have said that, Tuesday through Thursday are the best release days as far as listeners. So I don't know why. But I was like, yeah, we'll move to Thursday. So
I know that the one podcast I listen to is on like Thursdays, I think. So
yeah, that makes sense. So if you're waiting for season 2, the first episode will be Thursday, April 6th, 2023. That will be our first episode of season 2. So
yay, season 2.
Look forward to that. So, And in the meantime, we'll have occasional coaster conversations and a trip report or two, and then we'll pick things back up in April. So, alrighty. Well, we'll jump into our topic for today. So today,
do you have any like jump-in music or
what? Just was any music right here?
Yeah.
Because we don't have the time traveler.
Yeah.
Back in time noise.
Yeah, we need like jump-in music. Jumping into. I don't know.
Here, hand me the guitar. I'll play it. So today we're going to be talking about CoasterBot 2022. So for those of you that have listened a lot to the podcast, we talk about CoasterBot a lot on the podcast. We are looking at the rankings of we usually talk about it at the beginning in our introduction of each coaster. We talk about where it ranks versus other coasters in the park and versus other coasters that are similar to it. And anyway, we're constantly looking at it. So not only that, but I work in data analytics, and so I'm always interested in numbers and how the numbers compare to. That's just what I work with. I work with numbers and Excel all the time, and so
Nathan's nickname is Numbers.
So I'm always interested in data, and so to see like CoasterBot takes this and puts all these coaster rankings into data that I dive into, and I'm curious to see like what coasters performed well and which ones didn't, and how are this year's rankings compared to last year's rankings. Stuff that probably nobody else is doing or looking into. So I thought, why not share some of the interesting things I found for Haley's sake to see but also for any of you that are interested to know how these coasters are performing based on other people's opinions, then you can hear too. So I will explain briefly just how CoasterBot works. So, because I've talked a little bit about it, but just in case you're not familiar, so the way it works is anybody can participate, and some people might wonder why I use the CoasterBot rankings rather than looking at the Golden Ticket Awards, which is more official, quote unquote. There's two reasons for that. One, Golden Ticket Awards only covers the top 25 coasters in both steel and wood. Sorry, top 50 in steel and wood. So anything outside of that, you have no idea how it ranks. So that's number one. And number two is the sample size for CoasterBot. Not only is it larger, I think there was 2,000 to 3,000 people that participated in it this year. I don't remember the exact number, but anybody can participate. Whatever. I could sign up an account and have my little 2-year-old son, based on his reactions to the 3 coasters he's been on, I could have him participate. Like,
Does not like fire in the hole.
well, he hated Barnstormer the most, though.
You think so?
Well, he screamed bloody terror on Barnstormer.
That's true.
His rankings would be Grand Exposition Coaster, Fire in the Hole, and then Barnstormer. That would be his.
Parker.
That's his ranks of his 3 coaster credits. But yeah, so that's how easy it is for anybody to participate in this. So you get a full rank of everything, and anybody can participate. So that's why I prefer CoasterBot over like the Golden Ticket Awards. And then the other thing that is really great about CoasterBot is first of all, just shout out to them and all the work that they do over there. Really appreciate their content. Be sure to go and follow their YouTube and follow them on social media. They also they do a podcast as well called CoasterBot Rambles, so you can go and follow them on those platforms. And yeah, a lot of good stuff happening over there at CoasterBot. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Oh, I guess I'll explain how they crunch the data. Basically, it's a weighted system, so anybody can vote on whatever coasters they've been on, however many they've been on, and then they'll take 2 coasters and match them up together. So let's say Wildfire at Silver Dollar City versus Powder Keg at Silver Dollar City, right? And they'll match those 2 coasters together, and they say, okay, out of all the people that have been on both of these coasters, how many put one above the other? And they'll say, okay, well, 60% of people rate Powder Keg higher than Wildfire. And so they'll say, okay, Powder Keg won that matchup. And so it does matchups coaster by coaster for, every single possible matchup that could happen among the 1,000+ coasters there are in the world. And then they just rank them based on how many matchups that coaster won, like what percentage they won. So one coaster won 100% of its matchups this year, and that's the coaster that's going to be at number 1. And then everything else lost at least one. So, and then there's probably a coaster at the bottom that lost every single match. So
really go on that one.
Yeah, so it's probably just some kiddie coaster. So
Parker would vote for it, probably.
So in that sense, it is weighted, because if there's only 10 people that have been on a coaster, say it's super obscure or brand new, and only 10 people have been on it, but all 10 of them say that coaster is better than this one, then it'll take that kind of stuff into consideration. So it is interesting. That way you don't just get all the Cedar Point coasters showing up at the top. It allows some of the smaller coasters that aren't as ridden to get more exposure, because the people that have been on it say it's really, really good or whatever. So, make sense?
Yep.
Okay, shall we dive in? A lot of these. So here's what we're gonna talk about: winners and losers. So like the coasters that performed well versus didn't. Any changes to the top 100? Talk about some of our favorites, how they performed. Talk about the coasters we talked about on the podcast, how they performed. And then new for 2022, so like which coasters that were brand new, how those ranked. And then we'll talk about the top parks and the top coasters.
It's a lot to cover.
It is a lot to cover, but we're not going to spend like a ton of time on each coaster. So,
excuse me. I don't know
all right.
why I'm yawning.
So, let's talk about the winners. So, for the winners, I only picked 10 out of the top 200 that
I'm glad.
performed really well. A couple honorable mentions. Shivering Timbers at Michigan's Adventure gained 10 spots in the CoasterBot rankings. Oh, by the way, I'll just clarify. For most of these, we're just going to be talking US only, just because that's what Haley and I are familiar with. But I will specify when we talk about some of the international stuff.
Okay. Yep.
So it moved up 10 spots. So Shivering Timbers is now 43rd in the country. So it moved up into the top 50. So that's exciting. This thing is huge, by the way. Like,
it does look big.
It's like it reminds me of like those like B&M hyper coasters, but made out of wood. It's crazy. This thing is massive.
It's an interesting design too.
Yeah. The other one that moved up quite a bit, Intimidator 305, was number 18 in the country last year, moved all the way up to number 9 this year.
Really?
Yeah,
I really liked that
back up into the top 10, which also means it passed Twisted Timbers to become the best coaster at Kings Dominion again.
Nope.
I also disagree with that. I think Twisted Timbers is superior, but it is interesting how much that one moved up. So,
I mean, I still think it's so funny though that like people, are intimidated by this coaster so much, and then they get off of it and they're like, "Yeah, that thing was crazy."
It is.
So I think that's interesting that it kicked Twisted Timbers to the curb. So.
All right, so now the top 10. West Coast Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain moved up 14 spots. This is a dual launch. So it's a launch coaster, but it's a racing coaster.
That looks like so much fun. It looks
like a lot of fun. And
you're not allowed to go to Magic Mountain now without me.
Oh, oh boy. We're going to have to figure out how that's going to work. And also, it's a Mobius loop coaster. So when you get on it, you ride both sides. So you'll ride the white side. I think it's the white side first, and then you'll pull into the station, and you'll sit there and wait for the other train to load. And when that train's loaded, you'll launch off again, and then you'll ride the yellow train.
Weird.
Side. So you basically get 2 coaster rides in one, which is kind of cool. So
that's fun.
And then Mamba at Worlds of Fun moved up 16 spots. I heard a lot of people say it was a lot better this year than it has been in the past. So
did they retrack it?
They didn't retrack it, but I heard that they turned down the trim brakes. So at the very end of the ride, there's more airtime because it's not slowing down as much. Kentucky Rumbler at Beach Bend moved up 17 spots. I'm not super familiar with this one. I know it was built by GCI, but it's at a small park in the Louisville area, I think.
Fun.
It looks fun, yeah. Thunderbolt at Kennywood moved up 17 spots. So
interesting.
Good year for Thunderbolt. Switchback at ZDTs moved up 17 spots as well. This is the world's only wooden shuttle coaster.
What does that mean?
So you see this spike ends right here.
Yeah.
So it goes up this hill and comes down this drop, and like at the very end, it goes up the spike and then goes backwards and finishes the course backwards. So world's only wooden shuttle coaster. And then Renegade at Valley Fair, another wooden coaster. A lot of wooden coasters here.
That's interesting.
Moved up 17 spots as well, up to 56. Cyclone at Luna Park, one of the most iconic roller coasters of all time, moved up 18 spots all the way to 95. So it jumped up into the top 100. So that was impressive to see. This thing is, I think it's over 100 years old. I'm not positive.
Is it the same age as Jackrabbit?
I think Jackrabbit is older, but it is, well, I'm not positive. Yeah. Let's see. Ride of Steel at Six Flags Darien Lake moved up 19 spots. And then Gold Striker at California's Great America, another wood coaster, moved up 20 spots up to number 39, so jumped all the way up into the top 50. I'm curious if that's because California's Great America is closing down, so people are kind of giving it more credit because they're sad about it leaving. And then the number one or the coaster that moved the highest, or like jumped the highest in the rankings out of the top 200, was Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm.
Interesting.
So that one kind of surprised me because I've heard a lot of enthusiasts kind of bash on this coaster, saying that it's good but not like super great. But yeah, it moved up 26 spots this year. So it was, what was that? So it would have been 122 last year, moved up to number 96. So jumped back into the top 100. So good year for Hang Time and Knott's Berry Farm. So there's our top 10 winners, including a couple honorable mentions from Shivering Timbers and Intimidator 305. All right, let's talk about the losers. Now, losers, I took anything. I just wanted to see anything that fell a ton. I just wanted to see anything. So I wanted to give an honorable mention here to Grizzly at King's Dominion.
Oh, dear.
Because I hate it, and it
too.
fell 30 spots this year. So I think that was well
You didn't even
deserved.
tell me to go on it. Like, that's how much you didn't like it. You're like, don't go on it.
The good news is they are retracking it right now. So hopefully, it definitely needed it severely. So hopefully, it will be much better in the future. At number 10, Whizzer at Six Flags Great America fell 32 spots, which is weird because I've heard a lot of good things about this one. It's an old coaster, but I've heard a lot of enthusiasts say it's a lot of fun. So, in fact, at one point, the park planned to tear it out, but there were so many people that petitioned to keep it that they tore out a different coaster instead to replace, like, for the whatever construction plan they had in place. They tore out another one and kept this one. So the Boss at Six Flags St. Louis also fell 32 spots. I'm imagining that one's just getting rougher over time. Skull Mountain at Six Flags Great Adventure fell 34 spots. It's an indoor coaster. I've heard people refer to it as the poor man's Space Mountain.
Okay.
Nighthawk at Carowinds fell 37 spots. That's probably mostly due to the fact that it was barely open this year. It was like they repainted it in like February or March, and then it had technical issues and didn't open until like October.
Yeah, because you didn't even get on it.
I didn't get a chance to ride it this year, so that's probably why that one fell so much. X Coaster at Magic Springs Theme Park fell 39 spots. So this is one that's here in Arkansas, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's down by Hot Springs. Maybe we'll go to Magic Springs.
That's not even that far.
No, it's not too far. So, but it's not our home park. So, and I've heard bad things about it.
Oh, okay.
As is evidenced by this thing falling 39 spots in the rankings.
I mean, it doesn't look like fun.
So basically you go up this lift. So this is a lift hill, and then the lift hill continues all the way to right here. So like you're even upside down on the lift hill, and then it lets go and you go through this barrel roll and then come back down. And then it like swings back and forth and then goes to the station. So it's like the whole ride.
Huh.
And this is their best coaster, probably. Maybe not anymore after it fell. Roller Coaster at Lagoon fell 41 spots, which is weird. This is another weird one that I've heard good things about it, and I've heard that it's super smooth, despite I think it turned 100 this year. So
it's called Roller Coaster?
It's called Roller Coaster. That's the name.
The one at Idlewild's called Roller Coaster?
No, this one's called Roller Coaster. Like just Roller Coaster. That's the name of it. Funny you should mention Rolo Coaster, though, because the next on the list... Rolo Coaster at Idlewild fell 43 spots.
It's struggling like a lot. So I feel like they need a new like attraction because they're struggling.
I don't know. It's interesting because like I don't know. I still haven't been to Idlewild with you, so
it's not anything.
There's a couple credits there I got to pick up though.
2.
Yeah, 2.
That's it.
That's a couple.
It's a mouse ride and
Wild Mouse.
This ride, and they're nothing to like shine a light for. It's
a credit is a credit.
It's expensive to go there.
Is it really?
Yes, it's like $65 a ticket.
That's crazy.
And it's like not worth it, even a little.
Those are expensive credits. Next up, La Vibora at Six Flags Over Texas fell 49 spots. So this is like a bobsled coaster, but instead of a train, so it's like Reptilian at Kings Dominion, but instead of a full train, it's just one car at a time.
Weird.
So I've heard good things about it, but I don't know, maybe it's having a bad year. And then the number one coaster that fell, and this thing fell like a rock, fell 166 spots from last year.
Ouch.
Arkansas Twister at Magic Springs Theme Park. So Magic Springs with 2 coasters in the top 10 that fell the most this year in the rankings. So that's not good. But
you want to go here? Why?
Credits.
Okay.
It's weird because it doesn't look bad. So,
no, it doesn't.
And like, so if it fell 166
very,
spots,
pretty, like a pretty
yeah,
ride.
that means it was in the top 200 last year. So I don't know what happened to it this year that people hated it. But all right, so let's jump into changes to the top 100. We'll just go over this really quick because I don't have pictures for this.
Okay.
So the coasters that fell out of the top 100, Tennessee Tornado from Dollywood fell 25 spots. Mind Blower at Fun Spot America in Kissimmee fell 26. Medusa at Six Flags Great Adventure and Medusa at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom both fell out of the top 100.
Six Flags is struggling.
Dominator at Kings Dominion fell 6 spots, so not a lot, but just enough to push it out of the top 100. And then Tremors at Silverwood fell out of the top 100 as well. So there were 6 that fell out. Here are 4 that moved in. This math isn't adding up. I may have missed one somewhere because I know that there's 3, maybe even 4 new for 2022 in the top 100.
Okay.
I'm not sure why my math isn't adding up. I must have missed something here. But Hang Time moved up to number 96. Cyclone at Luna Park, which we talked about both of those earlier, moved up to 95. Batman the Ride at Six Flags Great America, which is the original inverted coaster, moved up to number 92. So continues to move up and up. And then Ride of Steel at Six Flags Darien Lake, which we talked about, moved up to 87. So there's some changes to the top 100. Just a couple of our favorites. Not a ton of changes here. Twisted Timbers fell 2 spots, mostly because it got passed by Intimidator 305 and a new coaster opened that performed better than it. So Outlaw Run and Time Traveler both fell 1 spot. Orion moved up 6 spots, so people like an Orion this year. It was behind Diamondback last year, but Diamondback fell a little bit and Orion moved up, so now Orion is ranked higher than Diamondback.
Orion's the one at Kings Island, right?
Yeah, the 300 one at Kings Island.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Stormrunner moved up 3 spots. We love us some Stormrunner in this house.
Mm-hmm.
Candemonium, exactly the same as last year. sitting
solid ride.
Sitting strong at 54.
Heck yeah.
Expedition Everest moved up 1 spot.
Okay.
Rock and Roller Coaster fell 25 spots. I don't know what that's about. Can you see it?
What?
Do you feel like that's?
It needs retheming. Truthfully.
Interesting.
There's a lot of Disney fans that have said it needs rethemed.
Did you see the announcement a couple days ago that they're closing it for refurbishment?
I've heard that they might be retheming it.
I've heard that too. They said it's going to open in the summer, though. That seems, based on current Disney trends, that seems too fast for a retheme.
We'll see. I've heard that they might just retheme it to Queen, which
I'm not opposed to that, but I don't know that Queen would be down for that, if that makes sense.
I've also heard Hannah Montana.
Oh, please no. Oh, gosh. You can't call it Rock and Roller Coaster if Hannah Montana is the... Oh, please no.
I know Nathan's opinion.
The Bat at Kings Island fell 16 spots. I don't know why. I thought the Bat was really good.
I liked that.
Thunderation moved up 6 spots. Let's go. Fire in the Hole moved up 2 spots.
What? Parker.
It's because you ranked it ahead of Barnstormer, isn't it?
Yep.
Reptilian moved down 13 spots, which is weird because So it wasn't. So last year it was still Avalanche, and I thought
Yeah.
after the retheme, I thought it would move up in the rankings because I thought they did a great job with the new paint job and the new trains and the new theming.
Yeah.
I thought it looked great and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. So I was surprised to see that. Banshee at Kings Island moved up 4 spots. Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. So they technically count that as 2 credits. So you can rank both sides, Alpha and Omega. What's weird is in the rankings, they switched this year. So like,
Okay.
I don't know what that was about, but one fell 2 spots and the other went up 2 spots. So they just switched places. It was just kind of bizarre. So I don't know why that happened. And then Big Thunder Mountain Railroad moved up 9 spots. So there's some of our favorites, not including some of the ones we talked about this year. So let's go from best ranked to worst ranked. Here are the 16 coasters we talked about that are still in the rankings, because one we talked about never existed, one we talked about doesn't exist anymore, and one existed but is being converted into Wildcat's Revenge right now.
Mm-hmm.
So of the 16 that remain, Phantom's Revenge at number 16 stayed the same.
Okay.
Mystic Timbers at 24 fell 1 spot. Accelerator at 52 fell 12 spots, probably because it's been closed since like April. Intimidator at Carowinds fell 9 spots. Fahrenheit at Hershey Park fell 11 spots. A lot of these did not do very well. I don't know if we cursed them, but Powder Keg fell 4 spots, which isn't
Did you
terrible. Vote? Of course I voted.
I didn't vote.
Oh. That's okay. Dominator, like I said earlier, fell 6 spots. Silver Bullet fell 9 spots to 129. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket fell 15 spots. Are you sure you didn't vote? That sounds like you're doing. She zipped. She said has nothing to say about the matter.
No, I didn't.
They can't see the
I didn't vote.
No.
I didn't vote.
Gemini at Cedar Point moved up 9 spots. Big Thunder Mountain moved up 3 spots. The Racer at Kings Island moved up 13 spots, probably because of the retracking work and the new paint job. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train fell 8 spots to 252. Exterminator at Kennywood fell 4 spots. Vortex at Carowinds fell 30 spots. People not liking Vortex. And finally, Pepsi Orange Streak at Nickelodeon Universe gained 3 spots. So there you go. So now let's dive into the main topic for, well, not the main topic, but my favorite part. We'll call it that. Let's say my favorite part. We're going to dive into the top ranks for the year as far as coasters and parks are concerned, and then also let's talk about the new for 2022 coasters. So new for 2022, so number 10 for 2022 was Sidewinder Safari, opened at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. It's just a spinning wild mouse, nothing too special. Number 9 was Defiance, that opened at Glenwood Caverns.
It looks really pretty.
It's in Colorado, and it's
up
like, in the mountains. So this is the, how do they classify it? The highest roller coaster in the world.
That's
not
so
the tallest,
pretty.
but like
the highest,
from
elevation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's very pretty. So
man, that's on my bucket list.
So it's like it's a straight up lift hill, and then it's a beyond vertical drop here. So like up here, you get like this really pretty view of like the whole valley.
I want to go. That looks really pretty.
Yeah, it looks fun. So it's a short coaster, but it serves its purpose. It's a small park, and this is like their first like major roller coaster. So.
But look, that's what a gorgeous view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very pretty. Number 8 was Toombili at King's Dominion, which we had I had a chance to ride.
No, thank you. I took one look at that thing. I'm like, I'm not getting on that. And my friend Pam was like, I'm not getting on that either. And I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, it was fun.
Definitely
I enjoyed
not. It. Yeah, you can enjoy it all you want. You can never drag me on this thing.
Number 7 was Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego. It was a dive coaster, so it's like a Valraven at Cedar Point, but smaller. So, but people said it's been really good. It's a fun little layout.
It's a pretty view too.
Another dive coaster, number 6, Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, which opened at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. This is the first dive coaster by B&M with a beyond vertical drop, so that kind of makes it a little unique. Let's see, number 5 was Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando. So this was like this one's kind of it's a swing launch, which basically means it launches forward and then it like comes up this thing and like goes backwards and launches backwards up into this vertical spike here.
Oh, weird.
And then comes back down and launches a third time going forwards and gets enough speed to finish the rest of the layout after that.
Huh.
So it's kind of a new concept. There's actually 2 swing launch coasters that opened this year, and both of them, we'll talk about the other one in a second here. So this one is more of a family size swing launch coaster, where the other one was like major thrill attraction. So
okay.
So, but it looks a lot of fun. No inversions, but airtime hills. Looks fun. So. Number 4 was Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot.
Gosh. It's such a toss-up. Like, we said we weren't going to talk about our rankings till
we do the Disney World trip report.
Oh, but it's so hard.
I will just leave it at the fact that Cosmic Rewind was
epic.
Really well done.
Really awesome.
So. Number 3 was Wonder Woman Flight of Courage that opened up at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It's the world's largest single rail coaster built by RMC.
Like fun.
Yep.
Okay.
And then number 2, the other swing launch coaster was Pantheon that opened at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
Oh, yeah.
Which we've talked about so we have friends that live there that we went to King's Dominion with them, but we didn't have time to go to Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
But they went to Busch Gardens this year and got to ride Pantheon, and they've told us how much they loved it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And then number 1 for 2022, Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Which we've heard very good things about.
Very good things. Basically Steel Vengeance 2.0 from what everyone says. So the thing that really impressed me looking at these rankings, Busch Gardens takes the number 1 coaster for 2022 and the number 2 coaster for 2022.
Nice.
So, and SeaWorld Orlando and San Diego both. So the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens chain knocking it out of the park with roller coasters right now. So I'm really impressed with what they had this year. So
Six Flags needs to take a couple notes.
I know Six Flags had 3 on this list, but all of them were below Pantheon and Iron Gwazi. So all right, top 10 parks for the year. Now, the way I did this was I ranked parks first by how many coasters they had in the top 200. And then if they had a tie, like if they both had 4 in the top 200 or whatever, the tiebreaker was the average rank of the coasters that were in the top 200. So if their average rank was 83 and the other one was 92, that's how the tiebreakers worked. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So number 10 was our very own Silver Dollar City, with 4 coasters in the top 200.
Yay!
Which I believe, so the top, that would be Wildfire, Powder Keg, Outlaw Run, and Time Traveler.
I love Silver Dollar City. I'm really excited we got past this year.
Yeah, I'm excited because
when do they open?
I think March. I don't know which weekend in March, but I'm pretty sure
I would so be down going early.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun. So. Number 9 is Holiday World, actually, which is impressive because they only have 4 coasters, but all 4 of them are in the top 100. Not even the top 200. All 4 are in the top 100.
I bet you're so excited.
I am so excited to go to Holiday World this year.
This is one that we're planning on going to this year. So
Holiday World is definitely about quality over quantity, which is impressive. So
they're only about an hour away from where my cousin, who we're really close to and went to Kings Island with this past year, they live like an hour away from this park, so we're planning on spending some time and maybe going this year with them. So
that'd be a lot of fun. So.
Allie's excited because she doesn't plan on being pregnant for this
Oh,
trip.
that's true. You should actually get to ride stuff. Number 8 was Carowinds. Again, with 4 coasters in the top 200 with an average. So the averages there, Silver Dollar City was 107.5, Holiday World was 103. I guess these are international rankings. That's why Holiday 103. Holiday World has 4 coasters in the top 100 nationally, but not internationally. And then Carowinds with an average of 80 for the 4 coasters that they have in the top 200. So I really enjoyed Carowinds. I still need to do a trip report and talk about Carowinds, but we'll get there. We'll record that someday. Number 7 was Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Obviously, that was helped by the opening of Pantheon this year. That gave them a boost.
Push, yeah.
That puts Busch Gardens Williamsburg with 5 coasters in the top 200.
Nice.
Including, I don't know if Loch Ness Monster, this yellow one is, but definitely Alpengeist, the white one, and, oh gosh, drawing a blank on the name of their dive coaster. Oh, I'm failing. Sheikra is the one at Busch Gardens Tampa. Griffin. Got it. I got it. Griffin is the one here at Busch
I was
Gardens.
going to be very disappointed. Like
Oh,
I know,
no.
like I know the difference, but
Yeah. Next up, we've got Hershey Park, which we're very fond of. We love Hershey Park. Also with 5 coasters in the top 200 with an average rank of 97. Their highest ranking is Sky Rush, which we'll be talking about here in a second.
Okay.
And Candemonium, obviously, here in the picture. One of the best. Next up is Kings Island with 5 coasters in the top 200 with an average rank of 83.4. So here we got Banshee in this picture. Was that both of our? No, Orion was both of our favorites of that. Banshee was my number 2 at the park, though, which was very good. So next up is Busch Gardens Tampa, obviously helped with the opening of Iron Gwazi this year. There's Sheikra. There's the one I remembered and before I tried to remember Griffin.
Them mixed up. How dare you?
With 5 coasters in the top 200 with a rank of 82.4, so barely beating out Kings Island in that sense. Next up is we move into 6 coasters in the top 200 with Six Flags Great Adventure. So the only problem is this one, El Toro, has been having significant problems, which we've talked about before, how it was closed all of last year because there was a derailment that happened. And then this year they opened it back up, and like a couple months later, there was another issue, and it's been closed all of this year too. I saw somebody on Twitter, he's a YouTuber, his name is El Toro Ryan, so his channel's named after El Toro. He used to be a ride op for El Toro, I think, too. So his post was like, Happy New Year, let's hope 2023 is kind to El Toro. So, and then Six Flags Magic Mountain, also with 6 coasters in the top 200, with an average rank of 89 versus Great Adventures 108.1. And then, can you guess what number 1 is in the country?
Cedar Point.
It has to be Cedar Point, right?
Yeah,
Cedar
it's
Point,
the king of roller coasters,
with 7 coasters in the top 200.
Makes sense.
Not including Top Thrill Dragster. So even with Top Thrill Dragster being closed and reworked right now, still had 7 coasters in the top 200.
Reworked? It's being torn down.
Not the whole thing.
Most of it.
Well, they've torn down the launch track and the brake run, but the actual tower part is still there.
Okay.
So we don't know what they're doing. So we'll see.
Sorry.
You all right? Am I boring you?
No, I don't know why I'm
You're supposed to be making more interesting. It took us a little bit to figure out our new recording equipment, so
I'm not tired. I don't know why I'm yawning.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
Continue.
All right. So there's our top 10 parks in the country. We will also talk about top 10 parks internationally here in a second. But
you know what? How about I just take over? Maybe that will make it interesting.
Well, the next part's a video, so there's not going to be a whole lot for you to do at this part. So let's talk about, I've put together the top 25 coasters in the country. So let's just jump right in. Some of these you'll know, some of them will be brand new to you. So number 25 is our very own time traveler here at Silver
Yay.
Dollar City.
Where's this at?
Like where are they taking the video from?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying to find better spots to take pictures and videos of the ride,
I was
but
gonna say, like,
I have
this
a hard
is a
time.
really good location to take
Yeah,
a video
so-
from.
Number 24, Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. This is Kings Island's only coaster in the top 25, which is weird. Like for as many coasters as they have in the top 200, they only have one in the top 25, which is kind of strange. So, but number 23, we have Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm. So this is Knott's Berry Farm's only coaster in the top 25 as well. So I like Mystic Timbers a little bit better, but a lot of people, I don't know, they're ranked so close because people do argue about which one they like more. So number 22 is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. So this is the highest ranked B&M hyper coaster in the country. So this is like Candemonium and Diamondback, same
It
model.
looks like fun.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's a lot of fun, and people pretty consistently consider this the best one. So I'd love to get a ride on it someday. So
I don't know. Every time we go to Orlando, we're like, nope, just going to Disney.
Yep. Number 21, we've got Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom.
I liked in that last video though how there was video like there was 3 people that were you.
Just
right
there taking videos. Yep, that's me. You'll see that we're going to have quite a few RMCs on this list. Here's our first entry at number 21. So this will be one we get to try next year. That'll be exciting. Number 20, RMC strikes again. We got Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This was one of their earlier ones. I think this was their second or third one that they did. So
it's got a cool design to it.
It's very cool. It goes like up on top of the quarry wall.
Yeah.
Uses the terrain to its advantage.
We've talked about this a little bit. Yeah.
Number 19, Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England. This is, I've actually seen this coaster, but I haven't been on it because we went to Six Flags New England when I was a chicken. That's right. So my dad's been on this one. I've seen it, taken pictures of it, but never been on it. But I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's a lot of fun. It's very similar to like Millennium Force. It's just like smaller, if that makes sense. It's 200 feet. So also at Six Flags New England, number 18 is Wicked Cyclone. So this is another RMC creation at Six Flags New England. This was not there when we went. It was, at that time, it was just Cyclone. And then RMC came in and worked their magic much later. So I've heard a lot of people say really good things about this one too. And then, what's next? Oh, we're just watching the video. Here we go. Number 17. This is Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So here you can kind of watch how this swing launch works.
Oh, weird.
So that goes backwards, hits the launch
that
again.
Would freak me out. If you
and
had
then
not
looks
told me,
and then goes into the spike. Look at this.
Well, what's crazy is if you would have not told me like that would, like what you did with me with Valraven, it would freak me out. I would literally think it would be broken. I'm like, what did you just put me on?
Because like it didn't get over the hill the first time. You'd be like, what is happening? What is happening? So then goes through the launch a third time and has enough speed to get up and over the airtime hill.
Oh my gosh.
And then through the rest of the layout.
Oh.
Number 16.
Yes.
Good old Phantom's Revenge from Haley's home park, Kennywood. This is one we've rode so many times.
Fun. So much fun.
This is very good. A lot of fun. Great coaster.
I really feel like your dad would enjoy this one. Like a ton.
Oh, certainly. I remember the first time I went on it with you, I texted him because I was like, oh, I just rode on something that you would love. Number 15, we've got Millennium Force at Cedar Point. This is one we got to try for the first time this year.
This was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I would personally rank Phantom's Revenge over it, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't like Millennium Force as much as most people do. It's kind of, I noticed a little bit of a rattle when we were on it.
A little
So
bit. I
showing its
I'm
age just a touch,
super
but
biased to Phantom, so like it's hard
well,
for me
yeah.
to.
Number 14, we've got X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain, which we
Oh.
just talked about in our last episode of Airtime Traveler. Actually, we were talking about a different coaster, but this coaster did come up in that conversation. So this one looks like a lot
Our
of fun.
coaster conversation.
No, that's this episode.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
This one looks like a lot of fun.
Does it though?
I think it does. You said you would go on it in our episode that we recorded. Number 13, our very own
Hey.
Outlaw Run here at Silver Dollar City.
Which we've talked about. It's 10 times better at night.
Yeah, when we went in November,
Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
that was the best ride I've ever had on Outlaw Run. It was so good,
fun.
and it was smoother than I remember it being.
Mhm.
It was a lot of fun. Here at number 12, we've got Twisted Colossus, RMC's only dueling coaster.
Wow. Okay.
So I think you would love this thing.
Ooh,
'cause,
probably.
yeah.
I am a big dual fan.
Yeah,
but
Haley loves RMC and she loves dueling coasters, so this is her cup of tea.
yes, let's do it.
So this is just like West Coast Racers too, where you get to ride both sides when you're on it. So
Okay. Twisted
number
Timbers.
11, Twisted Timbers, another
it's
one of
sad
our
it didn't make
favorites.
top 10.
Yep. Well, it's funny because it's Intimidator 305's fault that it didn't make top 10.
I would totally rank it above it.
I would too, but they are both very good and both a lot of fun. So.
For totally different reasons. So
yeah, Twisted Timbers may have been the coaster we got the most rides on this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we went back to back.
We rode it 5 times while we were at the park.
Sky Rush.
Number 10, starting our top 10 with Sky Rush at Hershey Park.
This one's interesting to me.
It's definitely a polarizing coaster.
Because this one's the thigh. I didn't like the restraints on this one at all.
Thigh Crush.
Yeah, I would rank this super low in my personal opinion.
Really? Because I wouldn't rank it
fan.
low. I just wouldn't rank it as high as some people. So.
Intimidator.
Yep, number 9,
Okay.
we've got Intimidator 305, which we've talked about already. So.
I agree. That's so every ride.
Definitely the most intense coaster
Yes.
I've been on.
Yeah.
Still
Ever
got
since
some
I
others.
got on that
but
one though, you're like, Haley, you could do anything. Like you can.
I can't believe this was the first Giga coaster I went on because we rode the other 4 later the other 3 later in the year. This was the first one we went on, and this one is so much more intense than the other ones. Number 8, we've got Maverick at Cedar Point. This one is so much fun. One of our favorites at the park. I think
really
both of our.
this one.
Was this? I can't remember. Did you rank this one at number 1 at Cedar Point or number 2?
I think this was my number 1.
Over Steel Vengeance.
Yes.
Then yeah. So this was Haley's number 1 at Cedar Point.
One
My
was...
number 2. But just barely. I really had a hard time picking between the two. I really enjoyed Maverick. Number 7, we've got The Voyage at Holiday World. One of the best wooden coasters in the country and one of the longest too.
I'm really excited to ride this.
People consistently rank this in their top 5s and top 10s. So this is Holiday World's bread and butter, so to speak.
I am curious. No, this doesn't.
So we'll come back to it. Number 6, Lightning Rod at Dollywood. Another one we'll get to try next year. RMC.
This year.
Oh, it is this year. That's right.
Happy New Year.
So this is RMC. It's also a launch coaster, as you saw how fast it went up that lift hill. It's actually a launched lift hill.
Nice.
So it was.
I'm excited to try this one.
It was a wooden coaster when it opened, but they've since replaced most of the track with steel track. So nowadays it's considered a steel coaster instead of a wooden coaster. So it looks a lot of fun. It's had some issues with maintenance. Sometimes it has, they've had problems keeping it open. But last year, I've heard it did pretty good last year. So number 5, we've got El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure, which we talked about briefly. That it's basically been closed for 90% of the last 2 years, but hopefully we'll see its revival in 2023 and. Because I would love to get a chance to ride this someday, and we'll see when that happens. And then number 4, I believe we've got Fury 325. Yep, So Fury 325 at Carowinds. This is my number one. I don't know if I've said that on the podcast before, but this is my number one coaster.
Which
that
is
I've been
depressing
on,
because
so.
I didn't get to go on this
I
with you.
know Haley wasn't able to go with me to Carowinds, and so
Colin did,
but
which is my brother.
this it is very close between this and Steel Vengeance, but I really liked Fury 325. Just a lot going on, but it's also smooth as glass and obviously super high speed.
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with smooth as glass.
You asked me to make it more interesting.
Yeah, it's more interesting. Number 3 is Velocicoaster at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. The highest ranked coaster in Orlando. So definitely been impressive to see, Universal step it up with their roller coaster game. And
heck yeah.
I think it kind of forced Disney to do the same. And that's why Cosmic Rewind was so well done. But
so good.
And then number 2, Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. Definitely one of our favorites that we got to ride this year. Can't go wrong with RMC, obviously.
I wasn't as much of a fan as I thought I would be with it.
Really? You still do you like Twisted Timbers more?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked both of them a lot, but I do like Steel Vengeance more than Twisted Timbers. So
I don't know. It might have just because I wasn't feeling good. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So but number 1, stealing the throne from Steel Vengeance for 2023, Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Brand new for 2022. It's not as long as Steel Vengeance, but I've heard that like the pacing, like it is just hauling through its layout, and it's just super intense. Lots of airtime. There's a moment on it where it goes through like how Twisted Timbers has a first drop that's a barrel roll, so like you're doing barrel roll as you go down. They have that on this ride, but you're going like full speed. What? They call it the death roll because that's like a term of like when so it's alligator themed, and like when an alligator like grabs its prey, it spins like that. They call it the death roll. So that was like the nickname they gave that barrel roll. And
interesting.
So that is the top 25 coasters in the U.S. according to the CoasterBot rankings for 2022. I hope to get on as many of those as possible. But obviously it's going to take a while. Yeah. And they'll keep opening new ones and you'll never be able to keep up.
That's true.
So that's pretty much everything to talk about US. Now, I do want to let's talk briefly for 10-15 minutes just about international parks and coasters, because I do want to give them the credit they deserve, even though I'm not as familiar with them and haven't been on any of them. But maybe someday. That would be fun.
I don't know, babe. If I'm going international, I'm going to go to like not amusement parks.
Oh, that's sad.
Love you, but not that much.
I guess we will be splitting up whenever we go to Europe. So number 10, as far as parks, all of these have 3 coasters in the top 200. So it's just the only tiebreaker was how those coasters are ranked. So at number 10, we've got Thorpe Park. I'll just go through these really quick since we haven't been to them, so we don't have like a ton to say. Thorpe Park is the United Kingdom. I will specify where they're from or where they're at. And then we have PortAventura Park in Spain. The theming just looks really well done.
Very Spain.
Park. Yeah.
Yep.
At number 8, we've got Fuji-Q Highland in Japan, with the fastest accelerating coaster in the world with Doda Dompa.
When I think of like international, like when you're saying all these things, I'm like Spain and Japan. I'm like, I don't think amusement parks.
Well, that's the difference between the GP and the coaster enthusiast. Number 7.
I think of the food.
They have food at the parks.
No comment.
Number 7, we've got Alton Towers, also in the United Kingdom, This is the Smiler. This is the coaster with the most inversions in the world at 14.
No.
Number 6, we have Europa Park, which we've talked about this before. I was like, hold up. I sent a picture of the Europa Park to my family just to confuse them because of like the centerpiece looks exactly like Spaceship Earth. But it has a roller coaster inside, which is interesting.
I think they should do that with Epcot.
Yeah. Europa Park, fun fact, has been ranked it's the highest ranked amusement park in the world by the Golden Ticket Awards for the last 3 years. So people love Europa Park at Amusement Today. Next we have, also apologies on if some of these pronunciations are incorrect. I am obviously American and not.
He's not a linguist.
Clearly. This is Liseberg in Sweden. So I couldn't find a picture that really showed the coasters, but you can see a few of them over here. Number 4 is Canada's Wonderland, which is one I'd love to go to. Yes.
Like, I think this would
qualify. What, you're saying they don't have good food in Canada?
I mean, they probably do, but I don't know. We lived so close to Canada growing up that it's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's Canada. Yeah.
This is a Cedar Fair park, actually.
Yes, I knew that.
So. At number 3, we've got Wallaby Holland, which is obviously in the Netherlands. So this is an RMC coaster, Untamed, which we'll be talking about here in a second. And number 2 is Energylandia in Poland, which has, I think they have 17 coasters. This park is huge, and they're building like 1 or 2 a year for the last decade. Like they've just all of a sudden just completely blown up. Like 10 years ago, this park was basically nothing, and then they just have completely. If I remember correctly, I think they're getting funding from the country of Poland to like build it up and make it a major tourist attraction to bring people to the country.
I would go to Poland without going here.
Yes, I know. That's the difference between the GP and the coaster enthusiast.
Look how pretty the back, like without.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
gorgeous.
Yes, but some people like me also want to do stuff like this when they visit other countries.
Yeah, we're totally splitting up.
And the number 1 ranked international park is Phantasialand in Germany, which is probably the most impressively themed park outside of like a Disney or a Universal I've ever seen. When we go through, we're going to go through the top 10 international coasters here in a second. Phantasialand has 2 coasters in the top 10, and both of them, the theming, you'll just see the theming looks amazing. It looks really well done. So let's do that. Let's talk top 10 international coasters, and then we'll be done. Sound great?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. So at number 10, we've got FLY, or Fly. I don't know how they pronounce it, but this is a flying coaster at Phantasialand in Germany. But it's really like low to the ground, and they've built like this little city that you're like flying in between the buildings and like around the train station, like just really, really cool. And it's also
like
the only
Harry Potter.
What? I mean, yeah, kind of. I could see that. So, number 9, we've got Expedition G-Force, which is at Holiday Park in Germany. I've heard people describe this as like Millennium Force. Like it's smaller than a Millennium Force, but people say it's better. So it's got like more forces, more airtime. It is smaller, so it's not as fast, but people seem to enjoy it more from what I've heard. So looks fun. And then at number 8, we've got Conda at Walibi, Belgium, which we just talked about. This is an Intamin hyper coaster. So lots of airtime. It has a non-inverting Cobra roll, which is totally unique. I don't think it's on any other coasters, but this is a newer model. So I think it's built within the last couple years, I think. So looks like a lot of fun. Long layout. And then at number 7, RMC strikes again. So this is Hakuge at Nagashima Spa Land in Japan. This coaster is probably one of the most visually stunning roller coasters I've ever seen.
That's pretty.
Like the white support structure with the bright blue rails just looks really nice.
Very striking.
Yes, it is. Here's Fantasia Land again. This is number 6 with Terran. Look at this.
That.
Look at that. Isn't that just amazing?
That's really cool.
The work and the detail that they put into the theming on these rides.
Yeah.
So, and like the rides, both of them have been like
America's
really low to
lazy.
the ground.
They're like,
It definitely.
Here, let's just put this roller coaster up.
I know, it's interesting. It's like outside of Disney and Universal, they don't really put like that effort in.
I'm gonna throw up a roller coaster.
This is Taiga at Lennonmäki in Helsinki, Finland. So this is
this is not much theming. All right.
This one doesn't have much theming, but this is a I think it's an Intamin Blitz coaster. So kind of it's the same model as like a Maverick at Cedar Point. So looks like a lot of fun, a lot of inversions. Actually, now that I think about it, it may not be Intamin. It may be Mack Rides that did this one. I can't remember now. It kind of looks like it might be Mack Rides.
I wouldn't know the difference. So.
Yeah, it's a launch
wouldn't
coaster.
Know the difference.
GP doesn't care.
GP does not.
That's true.
It's a long video.
I think there we go. Number 4, this is Untamed at Wallaby Holland. Another RMC coaster.
I love the cars.
Aren't those cool looking?
Cool.
Very like steampunk-esque.
Well, I was even thinking it looks like a Netherland coaster. Like just I really like those. Like they look like very culture appropriate.
Yeah, it looks very fun. RMC, I would go on every RMC coaster if I could, including Wildfire at the Kolmården Wildlife Park in Kolmården, Sweden. So this is at a zoo.
Cool.
This massive. So this one's a wooden one, so like Outlaw Run.
Yeah.
But this one's at a zoo, and I've seen people rank this as their number 1 coaster in the world. Like people have really enjoyed this one. It's confusing because of Wildfire at Silver Dollar City. So when I see people like, "Oh, Wildfire's my number 1," I'm like, "Wait, why?" And then I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting that about Wildfire in Sweden." So this one looks like a lot of fun too. Very very terrain based, which is always good. Then we got Ride to Happiness, which is at
this looks like Time Traveler.
This is It's the same model as Time Traveler, but this is the second one that was built. Oh. So there's only 2. Time Traveler is the first. This is basically
over water.
It's basically Time Traveler 2.0.
Cool.
So this one, if I remember correctly, is ranked number 10 in the world. So very, very people are very impressed with this one, and
I really like it's over water. That's cool.
Yeah, it's very pretty. So a longer layout than Time Traveler, more inversions, if I remember correctly. And it also has that slow JoJo roll out of the station, which is pretty unique.
A what roll?
JoJo roll. That's
what it's called. Roll?
It's called a JoJo roll. Number 1 is Zadra at Energylandia, which is another huge RMC Steel Vengeance Iron Gwazi size RMC coaster. This one wasn't a conversion. This one was a ground up. So like they built this one from scratch. So because Energylandia is so new, they didn't have any wooden coasters to convert. So they just said, RMC, just build one from the ground up. And so this is what they built. This one ranks, from what I remember, number 4 in the world, where Zadra ranks. So, and there you have it. That is everything there is to know about CoasterBot 2022. So be sure to go and check them out. Like I said, they have a YouTube. They're on social media. You can go and listen to their podcast. Love the work that they're doing over at CoasterBot, and I hope they're doing it for a long time because of geeks like me that like to dive into the numbers.
Numbers.
be sure to go and follow us on social media, and we're on Twitter and Instagram, so you can go and check us out there. We've got, like I said, we got some trip reports coming up. I've talked about a contest that we're going to be doing soon, so be sure to follow us on social media. Keep tuned for updates on that. And then we'll have some trip reports and a couple episodes of Coaster Conversations in a few months. And then, like I said, April 6th, 2023, we will be jumping back into Season 2 of Airtime Traveler. And yeah, I think that's all I've got to say for this episode. Haley, you have anything to add for this episode?
No. Now that we've talked about food, I'm starving.
Well, we're going to go get my wife fed. And
okay.
And yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you either in the next episode of Coaster Conversations or the Trip Report, whichever comes first. But we'll see you in the next episode.